Welcome once again, Mavericks. It's Joe. Let's get into a ThinkorSwim video on building and saving orders. Now, guys, this isn't something that's going to be super helpful for the majority. Like, how do I do this? How do I do that? But I found this to be kind of interesting to use, especially for you volume traders, my traders out there that have 4 different watch lists. They're looking at 6, 8 possible positions that could trigger. They also need to close a dozen or so, and that's kind of what this is for. I'm just going to take you through a brief overview of how and when you can use them. There's a couple of things the software automatically does, but what's really cool is if you actually build these saved trades or saved orders for entering new trades or even to close existing ones, I'm going to walk through both scenarios. It can take a lot off your plate, especially if you add a little bit of alert here or there. That way you can take a look at the overall markets. Let's say you're doing something else that needs you to kind of go back and forth with your office. It can trigger you can pull it up, it's right there, bingo bango. So it's great for big watch lists or options expirations if you've got a whole slew of them. I know that I work with a lot of you guys from Friday to Friday based on, I'm not sure what I have here. Let me take a look at it. Okay, this is it. Geez, how do I close this? So on and so forth. You can pre-build these to make these much easier. Now, folks, I don't work for ThinkorSwim. Little disclaimer. I've got some examples we're going to get at. They're probably not very relative at this point, but take this for what it is. So let's jump right into the software. So the first scenario I want to discuss when it comes to building orders and saving them is in a scan that we've done, let's say a couple of days ago or even over the weekend. We went through, we found a few stocks that we liked based on the chart pattern. Over to the left here, folks, you guys can see that I've got a watch list on the energy sector. It's got a specific date. Might not be relevant to today's class, but hey, there it is. And you can see that I've highlighted 3 specific stocks. Now, these are stocks that I went through, top-down approach. You guys get your own scenario. The ones that I liked, I actually put 2 or 3 or 4 strategies on them that I wanted to measure against each other. And now I've got to go through and find out the ones that I like. Let's start with my top one. It looks like it's Devon Energy. Now, I'm going to go ahead and click on it. I usually go to Analyze. Analyze is where I like to start. Now, one thing that's really cool about the ThinkorSwim software, folks, and this is why this is kind of a peripheral class, is because if you scroll down here, you guys can see all the things that you've been doing or stuff that you've been working on. These are hypothetical trades that I've built based on what I'm looking at. And when you want to take a look at it, all you have to do is click on that checkbox there, and you can see, okay, here's my calendar spread I was looking at with Devon is a 65 calendar spread, about 2 weeks apart, going from the expiration of August to the weeklies of September 2nd. So that was the first scenario I was looking at. I was also comparing it to, you have to uncheck this, by the way, folks, so you don't stack them. I was looking at a vertical spread for the end of the August expiration as well, which is about a week and a half from today. Once again, guys, this class is going to be irrelevant based on when you watch it. But you can see there's a nice vertical spread in there. I've got a good risk graph, things that I'm looking for. The last one was a targeted butterfly. And these butterflies can be super great when it comes to risk reward. But as you can see, there's a very low probability of hitting this area. It's a pretty much you got to be in this area or you're not going to make it. So overall, folks, this is something that I did before this class, obviously. I don't want to spend hours and hours with you on this. I like the vertical spread in this situation. So yes, anytime I come back to the ticker symbol DVN, it will show me all of these choices. But if I want to single out the one that I'm specifically looking for, it's much, much easier to do it this way. Now I'm just going to go ahead and right-click on this. Now since we're the Analyze tab, I have to create a duplicate order. And what this will do is this will give me the scenario of right before I submit it live. You can see my debits at 122. It's a limited price. The mid and the average is anywhere from 122 to 125. This is going to be a big deal, especially when we go to do this down the road. I'll make sure I bring this back up in a second. However, that's not what we're trying to do right now. Right now, we are just trying to bank this order or save it. There you go. Now it's saved in our saved orders area. So it's one of, in this situation, 3 on queue to where we're going to make a trade. So let's move on to the next trade. This is MPC. I'm going to go to Analyze. I'm going to put this down, folks. I'm going to show you this. This is the tab here that will minimize and maximize your saved orders. We'll get there in a second. But here are the trades I was looking for when it comes to MPC. It looks like a butterfly trade. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, that looks pretty decent. The diagonal spread looked really good on this one. And I wonder if I've got a vertical. Of course, I built a vertical. Now, overall, let's say I actually like the butterfly on this one. So I'm just going to head and select the butterfly that I built. Right-click on it. Go to create the duplicate order because I built this in Analyze. Now, folks, if you don't build this in Analyze, it will actually be up in your order entry, and you can still save it the same way. It's just one less step. Take a look at, you can see that this is actually slid a little bit higher than my price action. That's totally fine. I'm just going to leave it at limit. When we go to edit it, it's going to tell us how much it's really going to cost before we send it. Right click from this, go ahead and hit save, and it's in our saved orders. Take a look. We got MPC, and below that we got Devon, DVN. So I'm done with this. Let's go back to the chart. Let's add an alert. Since it's a targeted butterfly spread, I just need to see it close above its high. Actually, it's, for me personally, folks, it's technically triggering, but let's give it a little bit of flexibility up to 98. Right click. Let's go over here to the, where's create alert? Let's go to 98. And hit enter and create. There we go. Now we got ourselves another one. Last but not least, folks, yes, I know it's a little mundane. Hopefully you're picking up on this. RRC. Let's go to Analyze. I've already done these. Woo, look how flat and wide that got. I don't know if I like that one anymore. Now, these saved orders are up right now. Keep in mind, you're going to have to play with this tab right here. I'll try to highlight it as many times as I can. Knock it back down. Looks like I was just doing two here, either the butterfly or the calendar. The calendar looks to be about 2 weeks separate, which means I could turn this into a vertical spread if I want to, if it continues to move forward. I think I like the vertical on this. Let's go ahead and create duplicate order first. $5 is when I was building it. Looks like it's about right. $40 on the upside, $5 in the mid-level. Doesn't matter because we're just going to go ahead and save it. All right, my save orders are up. I've got RRC, MPC, and DVN in my saved order criteria. So I'm just going to go ahead and minimize that. Let's put an alarm on this as well. Go back to charts. Ooh, it's above its resistance. What I say I was doing a calendar spread around 36. So let's see if it can get above, I don't know, folks, 35. Now understand, I'm going through all of this as just an example. You guys can get as specific as you need based on how you trade. So 35. Hit create. There we go. So let's say I go back to, I don't know, the SPX. Taking a look at this chart. Oh, that looks kind of fun. Let's take a look at Apple. Oh, that looks cool. Interesting enough, you hear a bell, or I just want to check on what's going on. Down to the bottom there, you guys can see it. Just go ahead and click on this. There's our saved orders. Here we go. We've got RRC, MPC, Devon. These are the trades. What's really cool is let's check in on one. Let's say we check in on MPC. So I'm just going to go back up, and I found it easier just to type it in. And something might have changed. So let's go to MPC here. I'm going to right-click on it and go to Edit. All right, now the edit, I got it at 1.11 as a limit. It's in between 121 and 148. I am definitely way far from that. So I can unlock this, make adjustments to the price. I could switch it from market to limit. Why would you do that? Well, I'm going to show you the second scenario in where I like to use saving orders. So whatever we change it to, that's completely fine. Just make sure you right-click and hit Save again. And what that's going to do, it's going to replace the order that we had out with the new criteria that we just changed. Pretty easy, right? Let's say that we do love it. Let's go to RRC again here. Whoops, sorry, too many buttons. And I like the way this is set up. It's not quite triggered at our trigger. That's fine, but I like it. I just go to right-click, confirm and send. You could create the duplicate order. Not necessary. It's already out there. You could edit if you wanted to and send it. But let's say you like it immediately. You can just go straight to confirm and send. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you this last criteria. You go ahead and hit send, save, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to go ahead and close this because I don't really want to do anything with it. So that's the first scenario, folks. when it comes to how to use or how to build and save orders and why you would like to do it. Now you can see I've got just the 3 here. I could actually go into another sector. I could build more trades. I could have some credits in there, whatever you want with these little orders or alerts. That really helps. This is great for if you're in and out of the office and you got other things to do. Now the second thing I want to talk about is, what do you do, Joe, if you have existing orders? Well, let's walk through that scenario. The first thing we want to do is get rid of what I've just built. It's just going to make things much cleaner for as we go forward, guys. So this is also a good lesson. If you just want to get rid of any order anytime, right click on it, delete. Very plain and simple. One at a time, it'll close it down. That's fine. We'll keep opening them up and delete them as we go. Real cool thing. All the saved orders are gone, right? But guess what? One thing I do love about ThinkorSwim is it's not gone in the Analyze tab. So here's RRC. Just go up to Analyze tab, and guess what, folks? There it is. Now this is good and bad, because if you're doing a lot of different trades on the same stock, you might have some orders that are up there from months ago. And yes, folks, it will stay up there. It will just give you these zeros and NAs, stuff like that, because they've already expired, so on and so forth. So if you really want to be tidy like I am, once you get into your trades, so on and so forth, just make sure that you dump whatever you're looking for. Keeps it nice and clean. That way when you revisit the stock again, you'll have a clean slate. All right, I digress. That's not what we're trying to talk about. Let's talk about existing orders. Now, folks, I do a lot of work with our options traders, and Fridays can be a nightmare, right? Especially if you've got 6, 7, 8 different trades. Diagonal spreads where one expires but the other one doesn't. Vertical spreads, am I in the money or am I out of the money? This becomes a lot harder with butterflies, to tell you the truth. There's always something in the money or out of the money, especially if you're between strike prices. So how do we make this a little easier? I went ahead and built 2 scenarios. I put TNA on there and I put Boeing. 2 different trades that both have expiration tomorrow, actually, considering that this class is now being dated by me. So I got to take a look at a few scenarios. Now, the first thing you want to do is break down the position that you have, and let's do that just for fun. I've got myself on TNA a diagonal call spread. I've got a 50-52 diagonal call. Now, the 52s will expire tomorrow. Let's jump to the chart on this just real quick to see what it looks like. All right, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. You can see that, hey, I'm pretty good for now. 52 is going to be pretty far out based on how slow this thing is, but you never know, right? Now, real quick, guys, I handle my diagonals maybe different than everybody else and maybe the same as you, but I've got a couple of scenarios. If I get to my $52 level, I usually like to close the whole thing anywhere above that 52 for maximum gain. If I close below the sold strike price, in this case the 52, I like to let it expire worthless and let the whole thing go. So there's only one scenario that I have to deal with, and that's going to be if the stock gets above my 52 level and close the whole thing. So let's start there just to make it super easy. So I'm going to go back to monitor. I'm going to click on TNA itself. This is the best way to do it, and go create closing order. Now this gives you the ability to close the whole thing, buy back the short leg, or close the long leg. Now a lot of traders like to buy back the short leg if they have to. Let's say that this stock is going to close at $52.10. They'll go ahead and spend the 10 cents to close it because they believe that the stock is going to continue higher and they want to hold on to that back leg of 50. You can create that order as well. For me, I'm going to keep it a little cleaner. I'm just going to say, hey, if this is above $52, I'm going to close the whole thing for the maximum gain at the point for the diagonal. I don't have a real position to roll forward, or I don't really want to, even though I could. I don't really feel like it. So all I have to do is go ahead and click it, and it creates this order, doesn't it? So there's the contracts. It's an automatic sell. It's going to be at a limit. I don't need this up today because I'm not looking at it today. Today's Thursday. I don't have to worry about it tomorrow. So I'm just going to go ahead and save it. Now what's really neat about this, with a click of a button, I can go back to my monitor tab. I can go back to that TNA and say, you know what? What if it looks really, really good and I just want to buy back the 52? I just go ahead and click it. There's the order. I'm going to right click it and go to save. Now what's way cool about this, folks, look what I have saved. The first order, or I should say the bottom order, which is the first one we created, was to close the whole combo. Currently, it's at $4.31 for a limit, credit back. I should make some money, so on and so forth. The next one is that single buy above it. Now that is to actually buy back the 52 and allow that 50 that I have to continue moving forward. It's going to cost me 33 cents at this point. We don't know those numbers. It's always best, and this is what I like to do. Let's jump to the charts. I can minimize this because I know where it is. Jump to the charts. Let's say I'm looking at the SPX. Looks pretty good. Let me zoom out of here a little bit, folks, because I like to make it look a little cleaner. There we go. I'm jumping around. I'm taking a look at Microsoft. I don't know why I'm doing that, but just to get you bouncing around. Okay, now I know. Hey, it's getting closer to the end of the day. Sorry, guys, it's TNA. I might need to get a little bit more focused on what I was looking at. Remember, down at the bottom, you see the tab? There it is. Pull it up. Do I need to just buy back that 52, or should I close the whole trade? Regardless, right-click on it, go to Edit, and it's going to tell you, okay, right now I'm pretty. I'm at a limit of 431. Average is 428 to 434, so I'm pretty decent. I'm sitting right in the middle, so I could go ahead and confirm and send that. Let's say, and this happens quite a bit, let's give it another scenario here. I'm going to go ahead and right-click and save this. It's best because that's the best way to get out of it. If you hit delete, it'll get rid of the order itself. Let's say I'm panic mode. It's shooting up. I just want to get rid of my obligation. I went to right-click, edit. It's too hard. It's too high. Mark it. Confirm and send. I'm out. Then you at least close the long leg. You can deal with the short leg. You can deal with the long leg later. So pretty interesting, right? So I'm going to go ahead and change this back to, actually I could leave it at market. Let's leave it at market here. I'm going to go ahead and right click and hit save. Now look, it's automatically defaulted to market just in case I'm getting close to the bell and it needs to change. I've only got that for TNA. Let's go back and add one more just for fun. It's Boeing here. Let's set up the exact same scenario. I'm going to right click, create closing order. Let's set up an order to sell the whole thing. Looks good. Right click, go to save. Go back to monitor here. Let's go ahead, right click on this and close and just set up an order to buy back our obligation. Right click on this, hit save. Boom. There we go, guys. We've got it all. I've got both my orders for BA up top and for TNA at the bottom. Pretty sweet, right? So then all I have to do is just keep an eye on the charts and the overall markets. If I see a scenario where I don't like it, looks like it's a little aggressive. Remember, go down to here, pop it up, find Boeing. Looks like I'm just going to go ahead and buy this back. You go ahead and I go to edit because that way, especially if you've got a limit order, you can adjust it. However, if this is a market order, like we had in TNA, just right click, confirm and send, and it's done, right? That's kind of your panic button. I'd rather have you guys take the time to go to edit. 30 by 32, 34, we're a little high. I could actually drop that. Chances are we'd probably get it with a limit order. That price or better. Hit confirm and send. If you don't want to do that, to get out of this, right click, save. You're back to where you were. That way you can play around. Now, these might be a couple extra steps. Geez, Joe, thanks for the class. I'm probably never going to use it. That's fine. I mean, just make sure it's I just figured it'd be kind of a fun thing to talk about when it comes to managing positions. When you've got a whole bunch of orders you want to get into for the first time and things you want to get out at the same time, it's kind of hard to differentiate it's what. Trust me, guys, I've been through a lot of expiration Fridays with a lot of gains and losses. You tend to lose your mind. I've been doing this for 20 years, and I still lose track of some of my positions. All right, folks, I hope you found this entertaining, if not educational. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you next time. Bye, everybody.